All right, so the next thing that we're going to discuss is section 2.4. Section 2.4 is going to talk about deductive reasoning along with some other things. Earlier in the chapter, we learned about inductive reasoning. And inductive reasoning was using patterns or observations. Well, deductive reasoning is sometimes also called logical reasoning. And deductive reasoning is reasoning logically from given statements or facts. So in this case, in deductive reasoning, we're using facts, definitions, or properties. All right, so in deductive reasoning, we are now using facts. It's not just observations on what we think or what we see, but now we're actually using facts, definitions, or properties. So here's an example of whether or not we're using inductive reasoning or deductive reasoning. All right, so the question says, is the conclusion a result of inductive, so using patterns or observations, or deductive reasoning using facts, definitions, or properties? So it says, there is a myth that the Great Wall of China is the only man-made object visible from the moon. So it's saying that you can see it from the moon. The Great Wall is barely visible in photographs taken from 180 miles above Earth. So it's barely visible from 180 miles above Earth. The moon is about 237,000 miles from Earth. Therefore, this myth cannot be true. So we're given a myth that the Great Wall of China can be seen from the moon, and then we're told that it's barely visible from 180 miles above Earth. And the moon is 237,000 miles from Earth. So since the moon is significantly further than 180 miles, this is using deductive reasoning. Right? It's not using patterns, it's not using observations, because we're not looking at a picture from the moon, but we're using facts that it's barely visible from 180 miles above Earth. So if it's barely visible from 180 miles, it's not going to be visible from 237,000 miles from Earth. All right, so that's using deductive reasoning, in which we're using facts that it's barely visible from 180 miles in order to come up with our conclusion that it will not be visible from 237,000 miles. Because that is more than 1,300 times further than that 180 miles, which is really significant. All right, then the next thing that we're going to talk about is the law of detachment. So that will be your second video.